Hello. I'm a little tired from my day, but I just felt like I wanted to do a quick reading or something, you know? So we'll make this like a general reading. We'll see what comes out, okay? For the general collective that chooses to watch this, what's going on? What's going on? What time is it? It's 4:44 and all's well. Do you feel that though? We got Queen of Cups. Your hearts are opening. I'm gonna say our, because I will definitely include that in my for myself as well. It's really easy to identify what's important to you right now, and there's a lot of gratitude for everything that you have, right? Like if you look around yourself, it's like, yeah, this is what I've accomplished. This is what I've done. Like, I am capable of this, you know? And it feels stable and strong, right? It's like, even if emotions were to rise up around you, which, by the way, could be happening if you observe the world right now, you might see chaotic things and a lot of like people being having outbursts and expressing some of their discomfort, and or it's sneaking out on them or whatever. My hair looks kind of weird right now, but it's just what it is. But you're able to observe that and know that you have a solid foundation to support yourself in. Not afraid of the emotions either, not shying away from it. Get the Star in reverse. Maybe going inward, like if you were to become emotionally and like overwhelmed, I think you're looking inward and handling situations like that. Maybe you're seeing a lot of need for healing when you look out in the world. Maybe you know that behind you is a lot of healing that you've actually put effort towards, and it took you a lot to get to this point. Okay, so, you know, for those of you who are there, you know, it's not likely that you'd actually come to a reading, so I'm going to let this reading go into a place where I kind of see it going, which is that you have a need for healing, okay? So some of you actually do have some things coming up for healing, and it's a matter of choosing to do it, because these are things that require your free will to break out of a condition. It could be a comfort zone, could be a way of coping or avoiding or living, an expectation, something society at large is doing. I'm gonna have to venture and say it's a fear program. It's like a very common fear program that society may have fed to you. And it's a fear program that it might even be a fear of expecting more or the best, or realizing that there are other options, other ways to navigate. Something like that. What is this? The Sun. It was in reverse, but I'm putting it upright. And I'm gonna flip the Star upright, and I'm gonna flip the Two of Wands upright, because now you're aware that the decision is yours. you can continue on in a place where you feel stuck and that you know you're operating out of something that is fear motivated. Or with this light shown onto it, you can make a conscious choice to look at and acknowledge that fear program. You know, understand why you have it, and then accept that you have it. Like, fully accept that that's the way you've been living. And then be present with any feelings that arise and love the part of you who feels those things. Who feels fear, who feels like you've missed out because of fear, who feels scared in the moment of something happening, or unexpected things, or of taking a chance, or of starting to live a new way, or of breaking a pattern, or of leaving people behind, or of starting a new hobby, or of letting people know the real you. You know, whatever it may be. Let's see. Can we have some information about what this may be? So we might be able to, if this next part doesn't pertain to you, I want to say that this could be for a very specific person because of the way that I can feel it going now, right? That first part of the reading, it was like, this applies to a bunch of people. And then it was like, okay, this applies to some people who have a shadow active ready to be looked at. And now this, we're looking at a shadow. So this may apply to only a less amount of people, okay? And it could be just one person, it could be a couple. Let's see what the topic is for the shadow, okay? Go the distance. It's about oh, interesting, card trouble. It's about taking the next steps to alleviate some barriers that are in your way. So car trouble would be something that would be in your way, right? It's like something that would prohibit you from going the distance. So this is kind of saying, like, it could be just metaphorically, it could be literally for you, but it could be also metaphorically, where it's like, what is the challenge and how can you overcome the challenge that's prohibiting you? That's the excuse or the hidden benefit of you not going the distance. What's the hidden benefit of not going the distance? Like, I don't know if you watched the video where I dissected my own trauma response to not getting the work done on my car. And I had to look at what the hidden benefit was of me not getting my car fixed. Because I identified that I was fearful of trusting a mechanic, but also the hidden benefit was that I didn't have to jump when people asked me to do stuff for them anymore, because I couldn't do it for them because I didn't have a car that was legal for me to do it for them with. You know what I mean? So it was like a hidden way where it was actually benefiting me. So there might be something like that to look at, you know, that's keeping you from overcoming challenges that are keeping you from going the distance on something that you know needs to be done in order to fully heal. In order to fully heal. This is something that needs to be done in order to fully heal a situation. It says they have secrets. Interesting. So it seems like there's more to know. We've got he walked away. So this is interesting because we've got car trouble and then he walked. Exit the situation. Be creative. Okay. This is pretty interesting. Gonna need some more information. Hold on here. What's the shadow we're dealing with? It's just going to give me a bigger, a more clear story here. Somebody surrendered here. Somebody said, I don't know what to do about this. And it was having to do with a challenge they didn't know how to overcome. So they threw their hands up. They walked away. They couldn't have it their way, so they walked away. And I think part of the issue, part of the hidden benefit of throwing hands up and walking away is that the secrets don't have to be addressed, right? Like, certain things would have to be admitted if this were to be overcome. Certain things would have to be dealt with, but instead, this challenge serves as a barrier to having to look at those things if it's just given up on. Okay. But there's an encouragement to go the distance, to be creative about it, right? It's like, all right, maybe this is a reason to figure out a new way to heal. It's like whatever way you were taught or there was examples shown to you on how to overcome certain experiences or challenges, and those are not going to work for you because of reasons. Now, whatever your reason is your reason, right? So this is a challenge to like find a new way, a way that is creative and that works for you. You hadn't healed this the way that other things get healed because that wasn't your way to heal this. There's something else here. This situation, this block, is actually a hidden opportunity. You know, all along my journey, which, you know, has been over 10 years now, I've been in the process of, you could call it healing or clearing up my misunderstandings. But what I found along the way was that one method of healing would work for me for a while until it wouldn't. And then when it stopped working for me, then it was like, oh, the universe just popped a new method right in front of me that I could learn about and experiment with. And then when that stopped working, the universe popped in a new method, a new thing for me to experiment with. It was like I was led to new information right when it was appropriate. Right when the old method stopped working for me, a new method became apparent to me. And I'm brought to that feeling and that remembrance for this reading. So it's like, you know, and as a result, I have a whole toolbox of healing modalities and tools to unpack misunderstandings. And different things work for different people at different times, on different levels, you know. Healing is like a puzzle. This thing, if you would go towards it, it's actually a very profitable project or very worthy of investing in project that you would otherwise give up on. Okay? So if you let fear rule you, and the fear would be that you'd have to face certain challenges that you've deemed you're not going to face, then you would miss out on this. Like, this is the card of $1 million idea and project, and it's coming in reverse. So at the very least, a project that would be important to you and your soul's journey, or even $1 million idea, meaning it could be ending up really profitable for you to figure out this new modality or this new way of dealing with certain somethings. And it's really highlighting for me today. I had a session with a client who was talking to me about something they're doing to work through their stuff, you know, to work through their misunderstandings. It was nothing I taught them. I was able to support them through it, and they were explaining to me how they were doing it. And so in this case, you know, like the teacher was the student for sure. I was the student. And it wasn't that I want to try that for myself, but I was holding space and also like could see exactly how what they were doing would also work. You know what I mean? Given what I know about healing. And what I know about healing is like from looking at it from this angle and this angle and this angle. And when you get to know like what works and what doesn't work, you kind of get this bigger picture view of like, oh, the mechanics of why it's working. So in knowing why it's working, I could see why that person's method was also working. Even though it was very non-traditional, even though it was very much their own creation. Okay? So I think it's really timely for this to kind of be the message, and I had no idea this was going to be, it was kind of like pulling teeth to get to this realization for me in this reading a little bit. So pulling teeth is kind of strong because pulling teeth sounds unpleasant. It was like extracting little pieces of information from these cards to get this bigger picture view. And so I feel like that's the equivalent of what you're doing with figuring out a method that's creative to you, that works for you in moving through, in moving through what you're moving through. Now, the first card that had come out in reverse was control issues, and then the next card that's come out in reverse is control and power struggles, and it's in reverse. So this is absolutely along the lines of the surrender, which was something you did anyway, right? You walked away, or someone walked away. It's saying walked away from the car trouble, from the challenge, was walked away from and exit the situation, but at the same time go the distance. So do you see how some sort of surrender and some sort of giving up control is actually part of this process here? So be creative. It's like, it maybe doesn't, I want to say it doesn't have to be as hard as it always was. Times on Earth have changed, have shifted. As a humanity, we've laid a lot of the groundwork, right? There's a grid to go to where you don't have to live under the old limitations. The pathways that needed to be formed in order for that to be an option for all of us have been formed. So if you can see an example of someone in your view that has done it, has gotten out of it, you know it's possible. Now you get to do it your way, to go, get out of the old paradigm, what could be referred to as the matrix, or your limitation, or your misunderstandings, to kind of like accelerate your growth to the point where it's like, say you came in as an advanced level soul and you said, well, I'll help work on this issue, this issue, this issue, and this issue. A lot of them probably, right? And then while you were working on some of the more difficult issues, other people were focused on some of the other more difficult issues that you said you'd also be part of. But you were caught up in some of these more difficult issues from one angle, and others were caught up on them on another angle, or a different issue altogether. Meanwhile, what I'm trying to say is that some of the issues that you said you'd work on, and that you planned on getting to after you finished the one you were currently working on, doesn't need to be worked on anymore. It's already an option. Like, you don't have to map the way, because it's already there as an option for you. Okay, that's that Two of Wands that we had in reverse. And you may not know that. That's part of what this reading was, right? It was in reverse, so you may not know there's an option already to like go and choose this. Because your soul, last you connected with it, let you know that you had to work on that next. But I'm saying, like, on Earth now, and according to this reading, it's already been worked on by another soul who maybe didn't have as much of a load as you, or who just, it's been done. Now all you have to do is choose it with your free will, meaning you don't have to take this tedious steps it takes to map out the way. The way has been mapped out. All you have to do is choose that you want to go that way, or choose that you want to apply that wisdom to your own journey, right? Just extract it, or whatever your creative process is. Okay? Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to do the struggle part like you've been doing on the thing that you've been working on. That's probably done too. Like if you just finished something up, that was great, because now it's time to kind of level up and work from there. Where all the kind of old contracts that were taken on don't really have to be the way anymore. It's like, just do the thing you're ready to shine in. Do the thing you're ready to shine in. All the experiences you've had let you know what you're ready to shine in. Now you can do that. The pathways you thought you needed to make in order to be able to shine in that way are made. Yeah. You may be operating under the understanding or misunderstanding that there's more that you have to heal. You'll know if that is true for you, but there may be some things that you can actually let go of, and it won't harm you to do so. We disagree. Interesting. Oh God, I'm sorry. I want you in my life. I could talk to you all night. So if that means something to you, if that's where the challenge was, with communicating with somebody you disagreed with, be creative. The road has been, the foundation, the groundwork has been laid. There's a solid foundation. There's a bridge that you can walk on. As far as like being sorry, like if there's something to apologize for, that could have served as a deterrent, right? Something that you'd rather like surrender, walk away from, than address, because addressing it would cause you to have to spill the reasons why it happened or something like that, that you weren't, it may not have been appropriate to do so, or you weren't prepared to do so, or you're just trying to leave behind and not recreate into the future. So get creative about that, right? It's like, how would you deal with a situation where you don't want to tell this old story and recreate it into the future? When I look at that I'm sorry card, I can tell you that in my Fair Relating reflection deck that I sell on my website, there is a card that used to say apologies are in order, card number 23. But in the new version of that deck, and all the versions that I had sold have now been upgraded, that card number 23 now says, instead of apology, it's saying like, express that you care. Because that's what an apology is meant to do, right? Like, I care about how you feel. And then the card says, you know, discern, like, or share what you've learned. So like, an apology is meant to say like, I care about how you feel and I don't want to hurt you. And I learned this, so I won't hurt you in that way anymore. Right? That's what an apology actually is. It's not some stance we hold or something we play victim to. It's an actual exchange that is a potential for a connection to be made. And a connection is based on relating. And so relating is based on understanding. And understanding means I came to understand that I have hurt you in some way, and I want you to know that I don't want to hurt you. So now that person understands that I don't want to hurt them. I understand that they were hurt. Now both people are now on a wavelength where they're relating. You see how, whereas just saying sorry, or sorry, however deeply felt it is when you say sorry. Sure, some people can feel on an energetic level what that sorry means. But why not make sure that they know for sure, right? Like, why leave it up to chance? And why make yourself sorry? Mistakes are actually part of learning and growing, and they're required on Earth. So we need to allow ourselves to make mistakes, and the people who love us will also allow us to make mistakes. And to love ourselves, we need to be allowed to make mistakes, and we need to allow ourselves to make mistakes, and we need to know that we're lovable even when we make mistakes. So I'm kind of all for letting go of this whole obligatory I'm sorry, or making ourselves sorry or lesser or sorry, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm a learning being, and I don't always get it right the first time. That's what I want to express to you. I realize there's a better way to do it that can take your feelings into consideration now that I understand what your feelings are. And now that I understand that I really do care about your feelings. You know? Maybe I had been acting from my own trauma, my own coping mechanism, and that didn't involve considering how you feel or how you're affected. That involved protecting me and making sure I don't get hurt. You know? But now that I realize that that actually hurt you, and I want you to know I care about that, and that will be taken into consideration when I choose to respond in the future. So this allows that person to decide whether or not it's safe to continue having experiences with us or not. If we go through life and we don't have these connective exchanges and communication where we express that we care about how the other person feels and how we plan on relating with them in the future, if we don't do that, then we can burn a lot of bridges and leave a lot of people feeling like it doesn't really matter to us how they feel or how what we do affects them. And that is not relating. That's burning bridges, that's cutting people off, that's can be looked at as rude, that's disconnective, you know? So it's also not wrong, because even doing that has its lessons, and I'm not judging anyone who does that. I'm just saying from my experience, I can see that's a good way to make people feel alienated from you, lose connections, and it's not necessary once you gain the skills you need to actually repair a relationship. And I don't suggest kind of extending these kind of conversations when it's not sincere, right? Because it's only going to take one round before someone knows that you weren't sincere if you say, I don't want to do that, I don't want to navigate in that way anymore, but you continue to do it, right? Okay, so healing ourselves is part of it, right? Like if there's something that we're sorry for, before we're going to express to somebody else that we've learned that we care about their hurt, we might actually need to care about our own selves and what we were doing within our own selves that caused us to cope in that way, so that we heal ourselves, so that we actually have presence to offer another person on that topic. If we've given presence to ourselves, then we can offer it to another person. Otherwise, it's just lip service. Okay. It felt like a little bit of a tangent, but I'm just going to go with it. And I'm going to take one of these starseed oracles. The Void. Oh, the Void. Stop. Embrace winter. The great cosmic womb. Yeah. You're going the distance, but like the distance is limitless, and you'll always be going the distance. And going into that space of the unknown, it is freedom. It is freedom. Whereas avoiding going the distance, keeps us in coping mechanisms and misunderstandings, which is a little bit ironic since there's no understanding here, right? The main understanding here is like, I know nothing, right? Which is a freedom. Okay, let's say something that they're doing well. Let's see. I think that you know not to worry. That's why you kind of threw your hands up or whatever, right? Because you know that worrying is not going to solve it. So there's a message about, just recognizing you for your efforts or maybe it's not efforts, in your willingness to not worry, which is a waste. And you are good at focus and choosing your priorities. So when it's time to deal with this, you will make it your priority. And this didn't kind of say what time frame this is. It didn't express that it was pressing. It just expressed that this is the case. It just said, here's some information to reflect on to possibly help expand your awareness or sort out what your awareness is, to let you prioritize. Because I think if you've left this and walked away from it, you probably have been focusing on other things. And they're saying that's great that you can do that, right? But this is something that lends toward your, I want to say destiny, but there's no card that supports me in saying that. So I'm like, oh, am I making that up? Let me just see. Let me see what this card. I just got dizzy when I said that. What is this lending towards for them? It's lending towards your living your passion on earth. It's lending towards living your passion. You're utilizing your creative energy, which is your sexual energy, and getting that sacral chakra moving. Okay? So if you're operating on some other means, it's good to have all of the chakras working together. It looks like this is an orange flag, right? That's that sacral energy. You shine most when you have it all working together. Your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown, etc., etc. All of these connections are useful to you in the full expression of who you are. I feel like I'm just talking and talking right now, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for participating. Remember, just information to reflect on. And if this was meant for you, cool, awesome. If you can relate to this, just take the parts that you can relate to, leave the rest. Remember, it's meant to be helpful. So just take what is. And I will see you in the next one.